being that he was the previous pound-for-pound king before you, does he get a little more attention than other great fighters from you when it came to studying him on the way up? Or,
of course.
What'd you take from him?
He was my era.
What happens when the calmest 10 most disciplined champion of this age loses control? That's exactly what we just saw. And it's because Terence "Bud" Crawford has officially spoken out against Manny Pacquiao. Yes, Manny is a legend and an icon. And he was a world winner in 8 different divisions. After weeks of Pacquiao calling him out, promoting a big fight, and spreading stories that Crawford says aren't true, but finally gave up. Today, we are going to find out what really happened during this hot moment. Why is Pacquiao calling people he can't really face? Why Crawford thinks Manny is out of touch? Why the boxing world is split? And how all of this became personal. Everything began with Pacquiao's comeback to fighting. When Pacquiao, at 46, faced Mario Barrios, fans were quickly reminded of the past. Manny didn't just go back to the sport. He went back with names on his mind. The list's #1 spot went to Terence Crawford.
Have you got any thoughts on that fight with Mario Barrios, and is there any chance we see you still in there at 46?
Nah, at 46, I don't plan on being back in the ring, but Mario Barrios is a great matchup for Manny Pacquiao. And I think, at this age, it's a 50-50 fight for Manny Pacquiao.
Pacquiao started to openly challenge Bud, who had just jumped to weight classes to become Canelo Alvarez, the same kid that most people agree is the best fighter in the world. Pacquiao said he wanted the fight, that he was ready, and that Crawford was next.
What would you do to beat Terence Crawford that no one has been able to do yet?
Just counter the speed and hard punches and strong punches and moving around like side by side and throwing a lot of punches.
People went crazy in the boxing world because who wouldn't want to see Manny Pacquiao fight a modern great? But this is where all the problems started. It wasn't just calling out Crawford that Pacquiao did. He added conditions to the situation. He said he wanted to fight at 140 pounds against a guy who just beat Canelo, who weighed 168 pounds, and hasn't fought at 140 pounds since the Obama era.
If you were to fight, let's say Terence Crawford, what weight would you want to fight at?
147.
147 still?
Yeah.
All right, well, I think you might be watching this. This is going to make a little bit of news. Why don't you go ahead and challenge him right now?
Because my natural weight is 140. So, I'm just moving up to 147. So, it's not getting hard to reduce.
He says he wants to fight Canelo, maybe at 168 pounds. Do you imagine him beating Canelo at that weight?
I don't know. I can't imagine. Let's wait.
And at that point, everything was different. As Crawford heard it and went crazy. Crawford has always been polite. He doesn't go out of his way to bring down famous people. But after hearing Pacquiao's demands, Bud just said, "Be serious."
Manny Pacquiao claimed that you were afraid to fight him. You want to clear that up?
Listen, we've been calling for that fight since 2015. Everybody know Bob Arum wanted to make the fight. Pacquiao and Freddie Roach, they didn't want them to fight. They wanted $20 million, which basically they outpriced themselves.
And what would you get?
I don't know.
Because Bud thinks Manny is trying to make decisions about things he doesn't have the right to decide anymore. Pacquiao is no longer something that people think about after they have thought about everything else. He's not the famous person who gets a lot of pay-per-view views. He is beaten. And right now, Crawford is boxing's face. So, when Manny starts to talk about weight classes and says he has more power, things stop being funny. Crawford felt disrespected, like Pacquiao was acting like nothing had changed in fighting.
When you look at my career and you look at his career, he had the support since he's been amateur. So he had money behind him since he was 15 years old. So he already had people that believe in him and put the money behind him and get him, in the best camps, put him in the best situations. All he had to do was focus on boxing. I never had that. you know, he had the support before he even was Canelo Alvarez.
But was reacting to more than one conversation. This anger has been building for a long time. In 2015, Crawford was ready to fight Pacquiao. The fight was very close. Negotiations were still going on, but Pacquiao's team kept backing out, delaying, and saving Manny from a nightmare in his prime. That is something Crawford remembers.
You wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao. I think you were like 27, 28 when you wanted to fight Pac. Why didn't that fight happen?
I hear so many excuses like they didn't want it, but Freddie Roach on the record saying he didn't want Pacquiao to fight. I just think Top Rank wanted to protect Pacquiao because of the money issue.
But wait, there's a twist. Manny wants Crawford now that he's older, slower, lighter, and not at his best. But thinks it's the most insulting part. He, like Manny, waited until the danger was gone, except that the fear is still there. Crawford is still just as dangerous.
My advice to him is as he's moving up to his upcoming fight, make sure that he focus on speed, he focus on how to improve his strength and while maintaining the speed.
It seems like the story that Crawford doesn't sell fights really gets under his skin. A few years ago, Pacquiao's team used a similar reason. It was paired by fans. The marketers said it again.
It feels great for one reason. A lot of people for years always ran with this narrative that I fight nobodies, I can't sell, I don't have personality, I'm this, I'm that, all these negative things. And look at all this, to see me fight Canelo. What can they say now?
But then everyone saw Crawford fight Errol Spence, one of the decade's most popular fights. Then they saw him fight Canelo in one of boxing's biggest fights.
How hard did he hit? How hard did he hit?
He didn't hit as hard as I thought he was. You know, he's definitely technical, but, you know, I've been hit harder.
They then saw as big networks fought to sign him. So hearing anyone, particularly Pacquiao, talk about that problem again, but wasn't going to let that happen. At this point, the figures can't be wrong, but is a star, but is a seller, but is newsworthy, but pushes the athletes he faces to do better. Pacquiao's use of that old story today makes it look outdated and childish. And Crawford has made it clear that he is no longer interested. This is where everything blew up. During the interview, Crawford said something that shocked the boxing world when he was asked about Manny's impact and why Pacquiao isn't in his top 5. He suggested, in a vague but clear way, that Pacquiao's best years happened to line up with the time when he didn't have to do a lot of tests. When testing became mandatory, Pacquiao's look changed.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, brilliant, masterful fight on Terence Crawford's part.
He didn't directly blame him, but the message was clear. Things weren't making sense. That caused a lot of trouble. It wasn't just Crawford who pointed it out. People in other fields also saw this.
I don't got Manny Pacquiao top 5.
You
reason
don't.
why he's not up there.
But
You
why?
should know that reason.
It's your interview.
Man, Manny's a generational talented fighter. Like, he's accomplished what no other fighter is ever going to accomplish.
Yeah.
Again, you know, but I don't feel like, you know, he did it on his own. That's me personally, because for the simple fact, when Floyd made it a point for him to do the blood test, he didn't want to do the blood test. But then when he did do the blood test, he haven't got a knockout since.
Mayweather, critics, And fans have already accused Manny Pacquiao of using steroids. He even took people to court who told him to do it. So for Crawford, the winner in every pound, the fight was personal.
Well, the big one was Manny. Manny was the one that everybody was always accusing. And Manny is the first, I mean, Manny went up 8 weight classes.
Yeah.
And kept his knockout power.
He's fighting as a little boy and then just was like...
Crazy. I mean, and kept the knockout power.
True.
And most people thought that Manny was on PEDs.
Correct.
And then they thought that Manny got off PEDs when he fought Juan Manuel Marquez and he got starched.
But there's a two-sided story there. He got off PEDs and he also found Jesus Christ. So he stopped going to strip clubs, he stopped hanging out with girls, but he stopped having fun. And then got serious about Jesus and got knocked the fuck out.
And that got the fans really excited. Some people thought but was just being honest, but did too much. Some people said, but everyone agree. Crawford was finished with holding back. It's not just that Crawford is tired of being attacked. He's operating at a whole new level now. Everyone in the boxing world had to shut up when he beat Canelo. Thanks, GOAT, because you're this generation's GOAT. Terry Crawford, but most people thought Canelo would just walk him down. I thought the difference in weight would make a difference. At last, Crawford thought he would come across a stranger. The smaller man, on the other hand, got in the ring, beat one of his generation's best fighters, and made history.
You were there stuff. You were see you were talking to. Let Aaron. You were because you keep talking like you doing all that talking. That's how you doing all that talking. You can't be always talking. I come back. You don't talk, and you talking too much. This you want some attention? Some icon right here. This is gonna be legendary. Right here. Female ass. See y'all tuning in. This is a legendary old school fight. Get out some attention. Put the camera on him because that's what he's doing. Showing out like a female. Let him finish, bud. Go ahead, EJ. Yeah, alright.
That win does more than make him even more famous. It raised him to a level that Manny Pacquiao no longer holds. Fans no longer compared Bud to Pacquiao but instead compared him to Floyd Mayweather, who beat Manny.
Terence Crawford had the ability to fight backwards and stay composed, good defense, hands was always up, countering everything that Canelo was throwing at him. He was just a little more active fight. Canelo did hit him to the body, but it was pretty much all Terence Crawford.
I think some of what we saw from Canelo is what he has to resort to now to fight. Maybe he's dealt with some injuries to where he's not as mobile. It's just the pattern that he's put himself in for the last, 6 to 8 fights. That same pattern is why Bivol was able to get him.
He did not allow Canelo to get inside, man. As soon as Canelo would get into that certain range, he would jab him. We didn't see any like lateral moves where he would throw, push off to the side as we used to see Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo was almost smothering his shot because he couldn't stay at range with him. And Terence Crawford runs off counter combinations. It would be a wider margin if they fought again.
Now comes the wild part. Canelo, who fought both Mayweather and Crawford when they were at their best, said without a doubt that Crawford is better than Floyd. You should listen when someone like Canelo talks. If you can, compare your fight with Floyd Mayweather Jr. to your fight with Terence Bud Crawford tonight. No. I believe Crawford is much better than Floyd Mayweather. That's why Bud's need for Pacquiao today doesn't make sense. That comparison is far behind us. Manny, fame, and another fight aren't things that Crawford needs. If he left tomorrow, the way people would remember him would be complete, iconic, perfect, and beyond criticism.
Everyone is going to start making comparisons with your legacy to Floyd Mayweather. How do you feel you compare with Floyd with the resume you have now?
Listen, Floyd was the greatest in his era. I'm the greatest in my era. It ain't no need to compare me to Floyd or Floyd to me.
You talk the talk and you sure walk the walk. Your confidence and aura is on another level. Could we see a run as a light heavyweight?
Nah, we ain't going up that much.
Now,
let's look at it closely. Pacquiao's negative comments about Crawford are based more on the need for attention than on the truth. Manny knows very well that he won't fight, but at 147, at 168, he is not fighting him. He will not accept thorough VAT checking. He won't accept being the B-side. And he doesn't want to face a peak monster when he's 46 years old. What's the easiest way to stay relevant? Name the biggest boxer right now, unknowing you won't sign the deal.
for him to be this far along in all these years, I think that he's number one.
He's been non-committal about his future. Do you think we ever see him fight again?
I don't want to see him fight no more.
Oh, really?
In my opinion.
Really?
Nah, I don't. I think that it's just a lot. It's a lot. Like them training camps, that wear and tear on your body, and me being his brother, like I really got like endless love for this guy. I don't want to see it. I think he did everything that in the sport that he could do. I think there's nothing else that can be done. He made one of the best fighters of our generation look average, and I think that's a huge accomplishment. And I think it's time to retire on the high horse.
Do you think he retires?
Knowing Bud, I don't. It's hard to say. Bud is crazy. I mean, I already know like what he can do in the boxing ring is different, and training camps, the hard work that he put in that comes together on fight night. He can go and do different things, and he don't have to retire. But for me, I would want to see it.
People are still talking about Pacquiao. It keeps him active in the world of boxing. It makes him more visible at shows and small fights. But Bud can tell what's really going on. There is one clear truth that came out of the whole event. Crawford and Pacquiao will never fight. Not because Bud or Manny are scared, but because the times, weights, physical facts, and motivations don't line up.
Manny Pacquiao won't fight him because...
Well, you said you don't want Manny to fight him.
Well, yeah, I don't want Manny to fight him because it's a devastation. And I still have a soft spot for Manny. And guys like Sean Gibbons and so forth don't want Manny to fight him because they feel the same way. Rule out a Pacquiao fight. Correct.
Did he mention as to why there was no interest in fighting Terence?
He thinks that Terence, with his skill set at this stage of Manny Pacquiao's career, would be too much.
Kind of looking at well, we have to be looking at that fight because he is one of the biggest guys, new guys out there, and he's a very good fighter, and he has great legs, and it's a difficult fight. Yeah.
The video for today is now over. Remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon if you liked it so you don't miss any more movies. Remember to leave your thoughts in the space provided. Watch out for the next video.